What is up, my dashing dudes and darling dames? I am the Hans TV, and welcome back to the subreddit of innumerable entitlement. It's r/EntiledParents. Our first Karen for the day comes from It Is I, and I Love Me. Entitled mother yells at me for infecting her family with Corona music. Let me introduce you to a new Karen. The Indian Karen. A little longer hair, tied into a ponytail and rolled into a bun that serves the function of hiding all of the 7 deadly sins. A voice shrill enough to make all the street cows turn their head to look at their mistress. A gold necklace to announce her dreaded arrival. One that I encountered. I don't know if anyone has read this article, and basically it tells how some scientist converted coronavirus's famous spike protein into music. I have no idea if it's legit. I thought it's true. It's cool if someone wants to be able to do it, and thought I should share. So I did. To Karen's son. Good person and a good friend. He is happy that smart people are left in the world. The next morning, my mom calls me from the other room, and I pick up. This was the conversation. In Punjabi, so this is a rough translation. Hi, Mom.
You cocksucker, sister fucker, son of a bitch. How dare you infect my family?
At this point, I just woke up and am still in the weird half-sleep phase, wondering to which sister I never had she was talking about.
Shut up, Karen. Don't you dare speak to my son like that. I'll speak shut up or I am hanging up.
What's going on? Who are you?
Mom, I have Miss Karen on conference. Did you give her son corona?
What? No.
Don't you lie. I have seen the music you send my son. It's corona.
It took me a full minute to realize what she was talking about. And then it hit me. Have you even read the article?
Don't you talk back to your elders.
You're acting pretty elderly now. Those two argued for 15 plus minutes. They started yelling at each other about other things like I am a bad influence. Karen doesn't know how to talk to anyone. Stuff like that. It's a translation of what scientists at MIT. I put the phone on speaker, opened the article, and started reading all the technical terms, which her 5th dropout ass would not understand.
You're not making any sense. You're lying. You taught him to lie. What kind of mother are you?
She finally breaks me. Apparently better than you. Did my friend show this to you, or did you open his phone without him knowing again?
That is none of your business.
I cut the call and immediately call my friend. I tell him everything, and he's mad. This was the 6th time this month she has gone through his phone. Her excuse being,
I don't want any local harlot to corrupt my son. It is my duty to make my son marry a proper Sikh girl without any distraction.
Jesus Christ, if anything is a danger to her family, it's her. Number 1, she dropped out of 5th, so she doesn't have an education. And number 2, she believes that somehow you can transmit viruses through music? What? Our next post comes from Artist Who Drinks Tea. Entitled Aunt thinks her son-in-law deserves all the respect. Hey everyone, first time poster and not from an English-speaking country, so please bear with me. A bit of a backstory. My father's sister is the most entitled person I've ever met in my life. She loves my dad, but she still feels like she and her kids should have priority in his life, even though he has his own family. As a result, she is always comparing her kids with us. Also, me and my sister have always been the smart ones in the family, so she tries her best to establish dominance by portraying her daughters as the only beautiful people in the family. They are fair in skin color, hence beautiful. Anyway, to the story. Her younger daughter got married a few months ago. She and I are almost the same age and have been inseparable since I can remember. Hence, I was really excited for her wedding. Now, about a year ago, we were all gathered at our place to discuss all the upcoming functions, etc. There are a lot of family members, but the involved cast is me, aka me, S is my younger sister, EA, entitled aunt, NU is nice uncle, who is the entitled aunt's husband. So, we're seated in our living room and discussing about the bachelorette party. Now, in our culture, we don't call elder brothers or sisters by their name. We use D, followed by the name as a sign of respect. but I never called my cousin D, as she's only a year older than me. So here goes the dialogue. We can decide on a place later. Tell me where John, her fiance, name changed, is going on his bachelor's. As my cousin is about to answer,
"Oh, P, how dare you call your elder brother-in-law by his name? Don't you have any respect for him?"
she screams so hard that everyone becomes silent for a moment and dumbfounded. I had met John a few times, and even he doesn't want me to give that respect to him.
What's wrong with that? She calls her cousin by her name too. But he's her husband. She should respect him.
I don't think he minds. Plus, how would cousin feel if I give respect to her husband and not her? EA starts to speak again, but my nice uncle cuts her off. Let them decide what they want to call each other. They're adults. Let them do whatever they're comfortable with. EA gives me a strong glare, and people continue with their discussions. Needless to say, no plans were made that day. OP, if you ever watch this video, please let me know if, doing the D and all that stuff is considered a traditionalism thing, and if it's being phased out, or if it's something that's really kept as a respect. Like we say sir and ma'am here. Is that kind of the same thing? Our next post comes from somebody that I cannot say with a straight face. Master of Yeet. Friend's Atheist Mom kicks me out on a Bryn's birthday party for wearing a cross. Disclaimer. Am unmobile, don't hate me too much. The characters: AF is Atheist Friend, EM is Entitled Mother, CD is Cool Dad, OF, Other Friend, and me, Figure It Out. Background. This was almost a year ago, and I'm just now thinking to put it on here. So obviously I consider myself to be a Christian, although nowhere near blindly devout. In fact, I'm pretty loose with my beliefs. Not trying to preach the word of God as reasoning during arguments, not flooding my social media. Maybe every once in a while I'll post a verse or wear a cross in public, but more or less not very outspoken. Before we get into the actual story, here's the main part that separates me from other Christians. I couldn't give two craps if you're not a Christian, gay, bi, atheist, Muslim, Apache helicopter. I simply do not care. When my friend confessed that he and his family were atheists, I think he was expecting to lose me as a friend. Instead, I just calmly replied, I don't really care, and asked if he wanted to try this new game I got. Not really being a dick, more like saying it wasn't a big deal. Then we went on with our day and never said anything about it again. Main story. It was my friend's 15th birthday, and like most teenage introverts, i.e. me, he just wanted to invite a few of his friends, including my other friend, over and hang out, with a plan to pull an all-nighter. My mom made me dress up in a red polo and jeans, which were really comfortable to ride a bike in. I also put my Xbox in a drawstring back to take over, which I put on my chest side because, I don't know. My gift was a new game AF had said that he had been wanting ever since he saw the trailer, but couldn't afford at the time. But the star of this story? A silver cross made of 2 tiny baseball bats. You've probably seen them. Anyway, I get to his house and I'm greeted by the cool dad, who I knew was Christian. Hey OP, glad you could make it. Nice to see you too, sir. Got nothing better to do. He's laughing. Your friend is downstairs with your other friend, so if you want to set that up, gesturing to the bag on my chest, lunch and cake is at 1. Alright, sounds good. I get my Xbox set up, and a few more friends, who don't really pose anything further to the story, arrive later. We were in a 1v1 tournament on Siege when lunch was called. Everything was going well until I sat down to eat my cheeseburger. While talking about the new season for Siege, EM calls out, mildly horrified, "What is on your shirt?" I looked down, thinking I got something on it. "No, around your neck!" I realized she meant my cross. Oh, this, I ordered it online a while back. Pretty cheap too. Her face becomes mixed with frustration and suspicion, but she says no further. The day goes on and we head back down to finish the tournament. This is where it all goes down. I had just hit a nasty on-top flick of an AF, and I may have gotten a little excited. Ooh, baby, may the Lord have mercy for I have none. Thumbs up for whoever gets that reference. All of a sudden, we hear thundering coming down the steps, and the entitled mother makes her appearance, known by the trademark screeching and pointing at me. "Get out!" Me? Why? "I just heard you say you want your God to kill my son." That's not what I said at all.
I know what I heard. I want you out of this house in the next minute. Don't touch anything with those filthy Christian hands. I don't want your evil here any longer. I gave you one pass when you walked in with that awful cross. If I had known you were Christian, I would have never let you near AF.
I was so taken aback, I just left without grabbing anything. OF followed me out the door. What the fuck was that? I have no fucking clue. Listen, if you want me to ride back home with you. No, I'll be fine. Just started is all. Do you want me to go back and get the Xbox? No, I'll let you guys finish the tournament. Just drop it off when you guys are done. Okay, I'll swing by later. OF kept his promise and told me what happened once I left. EM forbade AF from ever seeing me again, even though I was one of his first friends he had in middle school. Everyone was kind of on edge after that, so they all went on a Pokemon Go hunt and didn't get back until dark, and a couple of guys just headed home then and there. Everyone else went straight to sleep. AF and I still hang out under EM's nose, and she still has no idea. Here's a little word of wisdom for people out there. It doesn't matter your political views, your religion, anything like that. If you're not a dick to someone, you can be friends. Don't bring it up in conversation. Just talk like friends would. Because in the end, we're all human. And you know, we may not always get along and we may not always see eye to eye on things, but if you want to be somebody's friend, you do it because you like their personality. You don't do it because of their political beliefs or because of what they believe in. If you really think that believing in something or not believing in something or believing that your opinion is right is more important than a friendship, I think you should reevaluate your life. Our final post for the day comes from Warall. Entitled Mom needs her eggs and toilet paper. I, like many people nowadays, am stuck at home most days. I only really get to go out to go grocery shopping, or maybe the pharmacy to get diapers. Yay! The other day I had to pick up some diapers, so off to the pharmacy I went. They were limiting the number of people in the store, so I had to get in line right behind Karen. There were about 3 people in front of us, and we were all keeping our social distance from each other. But I could still hear her complaining the whole time. Ugh, why do I have to stand out here? They're going to be out of everything by the time I get in there, etc. When the lady out front tells her she can go in, she goes, ugh, finally, and storms past her. I'm a regular at the store, so I guess the lady recognized me, and we exchanged, can you believe her, looks. It was finally my turn, so I thanked the lady and went in. I made a beeline for the diaper section, and got the diapers. As I was heading to the registers, I noticed they had some eggs on sale. The pharmacy also has some groceries. I wasn't sure if we needed eggs, so I called my wife to see if we needed some. They had 2 cartons left, and there was a big sign saying, limit 1 per customer. Both packs looked like they had been through the ringer, and were falling apart. My wife said we could use them, especially if they were on sale. I was about to grab one when Karen showed up out of nowhere and pushed past me, like right next to me. I took a quick step back, both out of shock and distancing, and she grabbed both cartons. I pointed out the 1 carton limit, and she said, well, my kids need their eggs, and she put both in her cart. I wasn't in a desperate need for them anyway, so I didn't push it any further. I basically followed Karen to the registers, as I guess she was heading there too. They only had 2 registers open, so I lined up behind her. They had marks on the floor for social distancing. I looked to my left and saw another cooler full of eggs, in much better condition than the 2 that Karen had taken. So I just grabbed one of those and put it in my cart. When Karen got up to the front, she puts both egg cartons on the counter. The cashier told her, sorry, but these have a 1 carton per customer limit. Karen smiled at her. I know, but I was hoping maybe you could give me an exception, because my kids eat eggs every day for lunch, and they need their eggs. The cashier looked at the 2 falling apart cartons and knows she probably won't find anyone else to buy them. She told me afterwards. So she says, okay, we will make an exception for you. Karen is elated. Oh, thank you so much. As the cashier scans and puts the eggs in a bag, Karen puts 3 packages of toilet paper on the counter. I had glanced at the section as I went past, and it was empty. Again, I didn't need any TP, so it wasn't a big deal. The cashier looks at them and sighs. Unfortunately, the toilet paper are in a 1 package per customer as well. Karen looks at her again.
Could you make another exception for me, please? We are completely out of toilet paper at home, and this is all you have in the store. We need it.
The cashier sighs again, but says, I'm sorry, but if that is all we have, then some other customers might need it. Karen looks at her and says,
But my kids need it.
I'm sorry, said the cashier. She reached for the toilet paper as Karen pulled it back in a hug. And then she said those 6 little words that every Reddit writer dreams about.
Let me speak to your manager.
I was within arm's length of some popcorn, so I debated grabbing some for the show. The cashier grabbed the phone and asked the manager could come out. He came out after a minute or so. Hi, what seems to be the problem? He asked Karen.
Your employee made an exception for me with my eggs, but now she refuses to make one for my toilet paper.
He looks at her like she has 3 eyes, but the cashier explains it all to him. Okay, I see the problem, he says. He steps to the cash register as cashier steps back. He scans 1 pack of toilet paper, placing all 3 packs in the baggage area. Karen didn't catch this, because she is looking at the cashier all smug. He then types something on the register and takes one of the egg cartons out of the bag, handing it to the cashier along with the other 2 packs of the toilet paper. Could you please put these back on the shelf for me? Thanks. Cashier smiles and says, sure. Karen starts to say something as the cashier leaves, but the manager cuts her off. Sorry, limit 1 per customer. She starts to say something again, as he puts her TP in the bag with the eggs, but he just turns to her and says, cash or credit? She tries again, but he cuts her off. Again. I'm sorry, did you say cash or credit? She throws him a death stare. They have a plastic barrier up, and I think she was trying to melt it with her eyes or something, the way she was staring at him.
Credit,
she finally says, pulling out her card. She pays and grabs her bag. Have a nice day, he says with a smile as she leaves. The manager started to scan my items, and the cashier was back by the time I was getting ready to pay. She apologized for Karen. I laughed and told her not to worry about it. This was the first live show I've seen in nearly a month. Please be nice to everyone out there working right now. The whole world has gone to shit, and they're out there covering it for us. Now that's how a manager should act. Stop being bitches, managers. Stop bowing to the customer. You are the manager of the store. If it says 1, you fucking give them 1, even if they're bitching about it. Anyway, after that heated conversation, that's going to do it for today's episode of r/EntiledParents. I hope you liked the stories, and if you did, I'm going to link them down in the description below. And if you liked the video, subscribe, share, drop a like, and a comment down below what you'd like to see me read next. A humongous thank you to everyone who is subscribing. I cannot thank y'all enough for what y'all are doing in growing the community. I can't wait until we actually have a community page so I can actually talk to you guys. Speaking of, if you do want to get in contact, you can always just join the Discord or the subreddit that I'll have linked down as well. But with that being said, I will see you in the next video.